Okay.
Oh, she's gonna put the back, that's gonna be the back.
Okay.
Did you see her? Glover or Glover? Yes, she is. Yep. How old are you, Katie?
88.
Well, you're cute.
And this is the look at her. And that's the quilt she made. She just finished.
I like that border around it. It shows up real pretty.
Oh, I
there.
think so too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of her. This is the first quilt she's made in a long time, right?
First quilt that I made. I've always started, but I never get finished them.
Well, that one's finished. That's why you were such a big hurry to
So
finish
why
it.
do I put this in my backing together or what?
Yes.
Pin it together?
Yes. First, you have to sew your two pieces of backing together, though, and I'll show you that. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We'll cut it and get that ready, and then you can pin it.
Okay.
Then you can pin it like we pinned it your last one. Okay. First, I got to figure the pink. That's your back.
Okay.
And because you're gonna have to piece it because it's only 44 inches wide.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
that's doubled 44. And your back is your quilt is, I've got it over here, 55 I think is the shortest. So that means we're gonna have to have 1.5 yards twice, which is 3 yards, okay? No, 1 3/4 yards twice, which is 3.5 yards, okay, of the pink.
Okay.
And you won't need about 3/4 yard of that. And then we'll have to cut this in half. I'll cut it in half for you and we'll get it pinned or clipped. You got your pins, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, I said,
Our memory, everybody's memory is different, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
My memory is mostly being around just in the Black community. We went, I remember just having Liberty High across the handy store, and then on town. Now, when I talk about the Razor Building and the pool hall, those are tales that were handed down. I didn't see that, but I was told, listening to, back in Africa, or when you seen Roots, they would give you a story. You would tell the story and then you would pass it down to your family. So me hearing the stories about the Black businesses downtown is handed down. Like I said, the Razor Building and the pool hall. But Vivi can contest to this about the Memorial Drive. Under that bridge was Mount Olive Church. Right next to Mount Olive Church was the parsonage. I remember Reverend Richmond lived there. Next to that was your grandmother's house. Was your grandmother's house. And then on up, I can't remember where there was 2 churches. There was Mount Olive, and then where the health department is located right there. Phyllis Temple used to be right there. Right there. And then, of course, on up the street, that was, to me, was a Black neighborhood. Because we went from, there was Mount Zion on the hill, Phyllis Temple here, and then you had Mount Olive. So all we were associated was with the Black churches, and back then, families were large. You had 10, 11 children. So the churches was crowded because that was our only activities, basically. And you met all your friends and you went to church. We had a BTU. Does anybody remember BTU? That you would go to, and everybody couldn't wait for that. That was a youth group that we would have and learn the Bible, sing, and we had different churches would come in. And then you would go up and on up there's where the Combses live, Miss Florence and them, and then your Miss Florence's mother lived on the hill. The reason I know, I was best friends with Mary Emma, and so I would go to her house after church. we walked everywhere. There was no cars. And I also remember, I don't know, she was Betty Jean. She's Betty Jean Combs then on Oakhurst. Y'all know Betty Jean.
A&P baby.
It would be just like a car. Because even though there was no, I didn't want to go to church, you had to go. And she would knock on the door, going to Sunday school, and pick children up. And the teenagers, we would walk to Sunday school. But it was just like a car coming, picking you up, only it was teenagers. Or back then, yeah, they were teenagers because we were smaller. And we would walk to Sunday school. So I even downtown, every business that we went in, restaurant, was owned by blacks. Where City Hall is right there, that was a black business. It was a restaurant. But I can't remember. I think Mr. Dewey's family owned that somewhat. Then on Liberty Street, you had the Handies, and then you had Mr. Dewey's place. Lothair, you had the Brown Derby. And then there's Dipsy Doodle Curve. There was a nightclub that sat right back there in that place. I was a child. I remember going there, picking my mom. We was children in a car. You only had one car. That car took you everywhere. And it was just. I do remember the bus station.
Don't forget the record shop.
The record shop. It was So it was just so And what I'm saying, we were just around our community. And everybody, we were poor, but we didn't know it because everybody around us was the same way. So you couldn't say rich, poor. We were happy. We had food on the table. We could go out and play, because everybody in the community was that way. And it was a joy. I mean, even going to the bus station where the arts class is right there. That was a bus station. Yeah. I remember I was 15 and I went to Philadelphia with my grandmother. We had to catch the bus down at that bus station. Now I'm 15 years old, so that means it's 65. I just go in the bus station and sit down. I didn't know it was colored and white, 65. But the bus station, there was a place for colored and a place for white. If I said that was probably my first encounter of wow. And see, we were so used to going to Fouts Drug and Rexall's Drugs, and there were seats, and we couldn't go in the back, that we thought it was okay. We thought it was natural. We didn't think anything about it. I didn't. I think, well, why can't I go back there and say it? You know why I didn't think that? Because it was just the way it's supposed to be. And we settled. And when you settle for something, you don't have anybody working for anything, you think that's okay. And that's basically what happened because it was so many of us and we had our own little group. We were the popular kids in school because you know why? We had our own little group. So I'm not saying there was problems. There was a lot of problems. I'm just saying we didn't address it because that's just the way it was.
Do you think we still settle in ways today?
We still settle. We're still settled in the way that we think that right now it's just like that's just the way it is. So we're so satisfied with it being that way. So nothing is never said. Yeah, I think we're still settled.
It's easy to convince someone that something's okay if they're brought into it from day one.
Right.
And they never get to see the other side.
Exactly. I agree. The only thing now with this younger generation, see, they're approaching things a lot different. Their eyes are open. Our eyes wasn't open because our parents and grandparents, their eyes wasn't open. They settled because that's just the way it was. My mother worked in white people's homes, but she kept our home the same way. We had an aunt that worked for a doctor, They set their tables, they were their maids, but when we went to her house, we had to do the same thing. However they did their house, regardless what it was, we didn't have fancy stuff, but you would have thought we did, because she kept our house the same way. So they settled in the sense of that was a way of work. That was their livelihood. You know, we were 10, my older sister and I was 10 and 11 years old, keeping siblings while my mother would go to work when we got out of school. And then during the day, people would bring their ironing. They would drop their ironing off. White people would bring their ironing. And so she would iron all day, and they pick it up. And then when we came in from school, she had supper on the table. We knew what we had to do, feed the kids, and she would go to work. But we settled. We thought that's just the way it was. And we survived. And like you said, people are still just settling. Just settled to the point that they think it's okay, and it's not. We wasn't told that it wasn't okay. It wasn't.
To me, it's like settled in silence.
In silence.
Yeah.
Everybody kept silent.
Mm-hmm. Nobody spoke up.
And, I think mainly because it was so many people, and it was so many of them getting together that they just enjoyed being around themselves, and I'm quite sure they had their problems. They just didn't talk about them to us. Back in the day, you couldn't sit around while grown people were talking. And even if they were telling that what went on or what needed to be done, or even when Martin Luther King was shot, the uproar and everything, every place, but Hazard. I don't know about you, I was in school, but that didn't shock me or like, man, we need to do something. And I just thought that's sad that we didn't hear about his mission, the reason, but we just heard that Martin Luther King was shot and we went on our everyday life.
What top?
That's what we wasn't. You can silence the history. You can take the books out of the school. You can take them, but that's not going to silence history. These parents buy the books. Teach your kids. You do it. Not only the blacks, but there's some whites want their kids to know the history. It's not against you. It's about the history. And if our kids don't wise up, open eyes, hearts and minds, it's gonna go right back. It's gonna go right back. But the blessing, we have so many now that are educated. We had a lot of. Do you know that I didn't know anything about the black inventors? The black inventors, that what they actually invented, till we started having. They finally had Martin Luther King Day, and they started teaching about the black history and black. Do you know I didn't know half of those inventors? When you start seeing, and then it makes sense. The slaves had to work. They had to find a way to make everything better for them to work. They invented things to improve their work. They didn't have the money to patent it or to improve it. The patent was stolen from them, and they patented, made it better, and took credit. But and I know that it was invented by people of color that had to do the work.
So we've all been working on this quilt for the past, month and a half?
Something like that.
Month and a half, and we've been having a good time and everything, and we got it, sent it off last week, a couple Mondays ago, and to Sister Sheridan, and she's done an awesome job. And when I put the request in for it to be done today for our last meeting, I wasn't thinking about Easter Sunday, so she spent her Easter Sunday quilting this in her machine. and we are very appreciative of her for that. And the pattern that she chose, again, just like with the last quilt, goes right along with what I was envisioning. So this is I was very nervous but excited too, and it looks really, really good. She did an amazing job.
help you out first.
Yes.
Oh, you need a.
That tall person made it. And I'm going to start out with the back, okay? We'll start out with the back. 'Cause it is a quilt in all of its own.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my.
And that's the back. That's the back.
That's the back. That's the back.
Look at this way, Jen.
Back.
And this is the front.
Yeah.
Everybody sitting in here had a hand in this quilt. Everybody had a hand.
Can you move
That's
that
it.
picture? Right here. A little bit.
That's the
Beautiful,
African.
beautiful.
That's the African lady.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I know.
So we'll hang that up here in a few minutes, and y'all like it?
Love it.
Yeah.
It's
You
love
love
it.
You want to recap the original vision?
Well, what it was, the vision for it was the colors of Africa, and of course we chose the red, the black, and the green. The black is in the onion ring pattern, but we also chose. They also use yellow sometimes, so we chose this green. It kind of plays off of this in the main block here. And I wanted to go brighter because I wanted it to have a more cheerful feeling. So, but that's where it came from. Trying to think of the word. What is it, Em? Liberation. This is called the liberation. So the last one was
Love it.
about the
I love
addiction, and this is liberation. So.
Y'all done a fantastic job.
Isn't that beautiful?
So we're gonna hang it up,
Yeah, we'll hang it up here.
and that way everyone can come and stand in front of the quilt and then share what this workshop has meant to you.
It was about a month ago when they were meeting and working on the quilt that I got a message from Pam that Emily wanted somebody from a quilt group, and I was with the Prayers and Squares from our church that made prayer quilts. Well, that night I came and did the little interview, and just seeing all of these ladies here having fun and things I've been, because we'd see each other as we go across from, I go to the Presbyterian church, and some of them's church is over to the across the road from us, and then the Emily's church is down the parking lot from us. And I have just enjoyed being able to come and spend time with them and working on the quilts, watching some of the ladies sewing for the first time and making them things, and then some of them making their own quilts. It's been very inspiring. The whole group is inspiring ladies. And thank you for allowing us to be part of your group.
Thank
you for coming.
Very good.
This is the second time that I have been involved in the story behind the quilt. I really didn't think that it would be as more enjoyable the second time as it was the first time. Because usually your first experience doing something, you can't, that feeling of being educated, being just fellowship it was all combined, especially being inspired by when you didn't know a story behind the quilt. But this, after looking at this one, it's just as, I don't know, it brings out, each quilt has its own uniqueness about it and your own special feeling. Of course, you can never get the first feeling on a second time, but it's still, we use the word inspiring because that's what it does. But it also brings people together. Just to sit down and listen to the laughter and the talking, and you also find out stories in history. You lived here. I'm next to Miss Katie. I say I'm the next to the oldest. I would say that, yes. I'm next to the oldest. And just to hear the stories that I've lived here all my life, the Lord blesses me to see June. I'll be 73. And I didn't know. Lived here all my life. So you not only being inspired to learn how to quilt, but to leave a legacy, because I have my granddaughter here, my baby here, and to do something to leave a legacy about. She grows up, she's going to tell, one of her stories will be that she came here. Mm-hmm. And the women that she's seen here. She's North Carolina. She's born in Texas, but she lives in North Carolina. She's going to tell the story about being in Hazard, Kentucky, seeing the ladies quilt, the story behind the quilt. So again, we'll use the word inspiring because I'm just as inspired the second time as I was the first time.
All right.
I'm the one that's never sewed before. I didn't sew in school, but I enjoyed it. I figured that I would be done, quit the class, but I hung in there, and I enjoyed coming. I enjoyed seeing all the quilts. I enjoyed being around the people. But I made my first pin, and I think I did pretty good on it.
Yes.
For it to be my first time. So I enjoyed quilting, and my mother used to quilt, but I never did have no interest in it, and I didn't have no interest in sewing. But now if you have a cooking class, now I will participate in that, but I can't cook.
I hear you, Miss.
Take your pin cushion with you.
That's me.
She said that's my chain. Everybody know it, Naima.
Okay, well, I was inspired. First of all, Becky is my sister. And when she first told me about the quilting class, I was like, sewing's not my thing. I don't think I want to be involved in that. But then after I got here, just to listen to the stories behind the quilt, and it was a real fellowship, and it's been spiritual. And I was glad that I can get involved with telling about the colors, the green for the land that our people came from, the blood that they shed is for the red, and then, of course, the black meaning for our people. And I've enjoyed it, and I've learned how to sew. Is this my sign?
Yes, it is.
This is my sign. So and I have sewn before, but in high school, many, many years ago. And I've enjoyed everyone. That's it.
Well, this is the first time I made a quilt. And I start with this. It's got a meaning to it. Purple. My mom loves purple. She loves flowers. So really, this is the first quilt, like I said. And I hope that we continue making quilts. Hopefully this ain't the only quilt that I'll make. And I enjoy this class.
Amen. No, I have really thoroughly enjoyed this quilt. I seen the other quilt that everybody had made on the first episode, and I knew I wanted to be here. Because once you learn who you are and who your people are, you want to be involved with that. But you can't pass it on to other people. Let other people know, hey, this is us. This is who you talking about, is us. You know, our people did this. And this quilt was amazing to me because all these colors, like I said before, represents who we are as people. You know what I'm saying? It's like Jane was saying, the land, the blood, the wealth, it all ties into us. You know, and to know where you came from, and to know your ancestors, you know, came from a distance away. But look at us as people. And look at us now. We're fellowship with each other, laughing and sharing stories. You know, and it ain't gonna stop here. It's gonna go on and on, just like a ripple. Just like this. See, there's ripples in this. And the ripples are just gonna go on. And I have loved this class. I have enjoyed myself thoroughly. Thoroughly. When I tell you thoroughly, and I've learned so much, the laughter is what I love to do. I love to laugh. If anybody knows me, I love to laugh. And because I learned a long time ago, laughter is a medicine. It is. And we take good medicine, hey, good medicine comes out. You know? There's nothing like laughter to me. And I just want to thank these ladies that had a vision for this. That's why we're here. Because of ladies that said, wait a minute, we need to share our stuff. And look what happened. So we really appreciate this because there's nothing like our heritage, and I'm looking so forward to see where this goes. Amen. Amen.
Yay, Miss Katie. My hero.
Tell everybody how many quilts you made, in this class alone, okay?
Giving God the praises who's head of my life. And my name is Katie Glover. And I want to give Pastor Emily a lot of praise because she's the one come to my house. And she and I talked about making quilts. So that's how we got started. Come down here and start making quilts. So I've sold all my life, but just about it. And I watched my mother and my grandmother sew. And and I sewed in high school. And I made dresses and blouses. And my boys, I made them shirts. And then I sewed, but this is the first quilt that I haven't finished. I've always started them, but I never finished them. So I'm just proud of Sister Emily and Sister Kay and all. I love you all. It has been so good to just meet everybody, and everybody knows me, and they're my friends. I love everybody. So thank you so much. Love you.
Thank you. This lady, she said she's always quilted, but she's never finished. She's on fire now. Inspired, and she's making quilts coming out of her ears. You keep on making quilts.
Hey, yes, yes. You have to come to my house too and help me with my quilts.
I'll be calling you to come help me.
I love you all.
We love you too.
Love my little girl.
Well, I've just been here for the last 2 or 3 times, but I've really had a good time with fellowship with y'all. It's been a lot of fun and getting to know you better, and it's been inspiring. And this quilt is beautiful.
I just, this young lady right here just told me what she wants when she gets big. Why don't you tell the camera? Tell them what you just told me.
Stand up right there.
I
told about that quilting thing is it made out of fabric and it made in China maybe, or maybe they yard. And
Is that what you told the
What did
lady?
you tell her?
And what did you want to do when you get in college or when you get to be an adult?
I wish I could make all of this fabric in my living room and in my house.
Yeah, she wants her house full of fabric. Maybe when she's a college student, maybe when she's an adult. She wants to put fabric all over her house.
She loves these quilts.
That's what she said. So that she has been inspired, Emily.
All right.
Haven't you? Yes.
Tell us what you like about this quilt. Come over here and tell me what you like about this one.
I like about this quilt because my daddy born in Ivory Coast and it has like he likes African ladies or he likes African stuff.
All right.
Well, I've been here for about 4 weeks, and I love it. I love doing this. I couldn't wait to come. I was inspired to come. I just appreciate it and the love and the family. We're all family. It's beautiful, and I just think it. And the quilt is very beautiful up there. And I learned how to sew when I ain't sewed in a long time since high school. But I ain't gonna tell you how long I've been in high school. But I love it, and I enjoy myself each and every day here. It was nice. It was good.
How does it feel to leave a part of your efforts and stuff to something now that's made out of material exists because you participated in it?
And me, well, it inspired me, and it was just something I learned. I learned a lot of stuff from that, and it just taught. Well, what we taught, she was taught us a lot of stuff around here. We taught us about love and togetherness and just friends and family, and it just joke and laugh and just had a wonderful time. That's it. It was
So
beautiful.
all that goes into the quilt.
Yes, the quilt. Yeah, we put it all in the quilt, and that's what made it so beautiful. It did. It was love. We all had love. Beautiful love. That's what it was. Beautiful love.